Okay, so I think I know what the issue is with these front ports as well as the rear two is USB A's at the back in regards to file copying. As you can see what I've done here, I've labeled on the drive. This Samsung T7 is ExFat. This larger Western Digital is Mac OS journaled. And the ExFat, this SSD up here, is formatted ExFat. And this is the Ninja V, to which I use to film from the power up. And then it's just over here. So that's the Ninja V. This is the one that is, as you can see here, it is formatted ExFat, and that's the one that's connected to the computer currently. The 2 terabyte one on the desk, which says my name, is this one, which is again formatted ExFat. And then the 4 terabyte is Mac OS journaled. And I just copied some files to the Mac OS journal, and it was undoubtedly, I mean, it wasn't as fast as an SSD, but it was consistent in terms of its copying. What I believe is, and hopefully I'll be able to prove this, any of the front ports, any of this I/O that's not Thunderbolt 4, that is USB-C, cannot cope with ExFat. It just doesn't like it. It could read from it. Writing it's a whole nother story. The rear port through the Thunderbolt 4 port at the back, I can read and write ExFat perfectly fine. Unfortunately, this is part of the issue. And I believe I've got it. So let me just try and find it. So how to format a drive through Atmos. So unfortunately, Atmos devices work on ExFat file system. I cannot format, and I use this with cameras, I can't format it as Mac OS journal. So it's just the way it's designed. And it's a good thing, as of last week, I did a job for a client. There was a problem with an audio issue, and I had a clip as a backup file of the filming of something. And they just wanted to transfer the audio, and I gave them the video as well. But I was able to take this drive and connect it to a PC and copy the file for them. If it was Mac OS journal, that wouldn't have worked. So again, I haven't done conductive tests in the process of doing that. So what I'm gonna do when I turn the camera off, and then I'll come back to it because it's a bit complicated, is I'm gonna format. My plan is to reformat this drive. So the next video, what you'll see is it'll say Mac OS journaled on it. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna transfer the file that was the issue every time to that drive as Mac OS journaled, and then see if I can transfer it without the issue. And I think that that is gonna be the solution. The primary problem with all this is that it's not an issue to have particular drives, like backup drives that I can put my footage on and then plug it in and have it Mac OS journaled. The bigger concern I have is the fact that these SSDs and Atomos, whatever you want to call them, this is the formatting to which they do, which means I have to plug it into the rear. And it also means that there are 4 ports which, with ExFat drives, are not usable. I would hope, I pray, and I hope that this is something that's a software fix that Mac or Apple can fix down the line. If they can do that, that'd be amazing. And what I've noticed predominantly is just like the read is okay. Like that's pretty consistent. It's when it comes to the writing, and it just goes all over the place. And I don't know how or what the difference is between the protocol on Thunderbolt 4 and the protocol on USB-C, but there's a definitive issue. And a definitive issue, I think, in conjunction with the M1 Max and the whole integrated system, just the way the file formatting is, it just cannot handle it, and it freaks out and ejects the drives. So I might be wrong about this, but only through a process of elimination. Not great out of the Apple Store that they couldn't emulate it because they were just using disk images and everything was Mac OS journaled rather than going, all right, let's go to ExFat. So the reality is Tim Cook or whoever else is running Apple is like, some of us do need to be able to use You know, I predominantly use Apple, but I may need to give files to someone who uses a PC. So there needs to be a cross-platform, and that's what ExFat is supposed to be. So next step, I'll reformat this, and then we will see whether or not I can transfer the file. There's been an issue. The file in question, if I bring it up, is the one that this was the one that I had an issue with, that I actually, like, several times try to copy. So this is a file from, I think, Hammersmith Apollo from Record, and it's 59 gigabytes through the rear on just using the Thunderbolt 4 cable, or just that, sorry, it's not even a Thunderbolt, that's a USB-C 3.1 Gen 2, whatever, but plugged into the Thunderbolt cable, a port at the back, excuse me, never been a problem. Every time copy fine. So the issue really, as I said, is I think this has got to do with the formatting of the drive. Thunderbolt 4, no problem. I can put it in the other question, the other thing, I'm kind of whittling on here a little bit. When I plugged this into a colleague's MacBook, and I copy files, transfer them back and forth. I mean, the main reason why that all worked is on the MacBooks, all the ports are Thunderbolt 4. So there's no issue there either. And unfortunately, they do not give you the option of going, I want Thunderbolt 4 on the front of my computer unless you go for the M1 Ultra, which I didn't need. And I'd like it to be able to read through the front ports. I mean, that's the biggest issue. The other thing I think I'm doing is contacting a production company that I know and asking them what they use for their front ports, or like basically what drives they use. But I'm pretty sure they're using macOS journaled. So it's just, if I'm right about this, I'm gonna start whittling on. If I'm right about it, then I think it will work fine once it's macOS journaled. I would like to beg and plead Mac to try and fix this problem. Yeah, so let's go from there. Today is the 13th of June. It's just gone 9:05. Let's see what happens.